All right, welcome back to the channel. Today we are working on my wife's 2014 Forester. These are the garage chickens. That's Thelma. There's Louise, or vice versa. Anyway, we're doing the CVT fluid on my wife's car. Don't know if it's ever been done. We'll get into doing it underneath, but this is the stuff that I actually got. So got this off Marketplace, 60 bucks for 6 of them. The one was open, but it was never used. And I was gonna use this originally, but we ordered the wrong size. It was supposed to be a gallon. We only got a quart. This is that, just relabeled. So if you guys don't find a deal, there it is. Same brand. Anyway, we're gonna get into this. So let me get underneath the car and I'll show you how to remove the skid plate. You are gonna need some kind of tool to be able to monitor the CVT temps. And then I'm not gonna do a relearn on this yet because of the solenoid for the all-wheel drive. I'm worried the relearn won't go through. So I am gonna do another CVT fluid change when we do the valve body on it, but don't know if it's ever been done, I doubt it. And we're gonna go ahead and take care of that. Okay, so if you watched the last video, here's the paperwork. So I believe that one is no, I lied. Sorry, there's 3 of these. So these are also the same, they're like washers that go on to the diff. There's the part number from Subaru. There's how much it is. And then the top one, this is the drain for the CVT, is the same as the oil pan. So there's that, there's that. There's both of them. So let me crawl underneath of it. If you have a Forester, there's a splash shield that has 2 push pins and 5 10mm bolts, and then you're able to get to it. Fill plug, make sure you remove that first, is on the driver's side. Passenger side is for the front diff, so do not mix them up. Let me get under there, I'll get a light, we'll get into it. Okay, so this is the splash shield that we were talking about that has to come off. Like I said, there's 5 10s. If I'll show you where they are real quick, but if you look at my other video from the diff, it's actually 12mm, not a 10. So like I said, there's 2 clips, one up high, one in the back, and then the 5 bolts. And then the only reason this has to come off is the fill is on the side there. Right here, this part here is for the CVT. So there's the drain, same crush ring. Up here is the hole for the oil. So like I said, that's for the CVT. Let me take the skid plate off and I'll show you where the fill and check is on this. All right, so once the splash shield's off, like I said, straight above the control arm, there's a little tiny clip, and at the very end of that splash shield, the only reason you got to remove the splash shield is right back here. So next to this sensor, that is the fill and check valve. So once this gets to a certain temperature, it will actually start pouring out of that hole. And that's how you know that the CVT is filled, because it is a sealed unit. It's supposed to be lifetime fluid, which obviously it's not. And there's no dipsticks on these. So again, go ahead 14, I'll put you guys back on time lapse. I'm gonna do the fill and check plug first, because if I drain this and I can't get that off, we're in trouble. Again, 8mm, don't strip that out. 14mm for this. So let me put you on time lapse and we'll at least take care of that. I'll take you off time lapse once the fluid actually starts coming out so you can see how gross it is. All right, we're not gonna put you on time lapse. We're gonna see how tough this is. You may have a little bit of fluid, depends on who filled this. You may have a little bit of fluid come out of this. All right, give me a minute. I'm gonna have to get a bigger size and probably a breaker bar. All right, so take 2. This time we're gonna try it with the breaker bar. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I don't think I would have got that with the regular ratchet. So let's see if this thing, I'm gonna see if any, try not to be in the way. Remember, there is a gasket on there, so when you're putting this back on, make sure that the gasket is actually overfilled. Actually pretty overfilled. And believe it or not, the fluid doesn't look as bad as what I thought it was going to look like. That is substantially overfilled. So whenever you're doing this, while I'm waiting for this to finish draining out, this is just a check. It's not supposed to be that full. So I don't know if somebody has done this at one point in its life, and I mean, I guess overfilled's, that's a lot. Anyway, when you're doing this, you're supposed to do this cold, which I only moved the car. So basically, at that point, once you've drained the old fluid out of the bottom, that's supposed to just be a slow dribble, not that. Once you drain it out of the bottom, you are supposed to fill it up until it starts to run out, and then just finger tight the screw back in. And then you have to have some kind of software or something to monitor the temperature. And then you have to have it between a certain temperature. And while the car's still running, go ahead and pop that plug back off and fill it up until it starts to come out, and then that's it. But it has to be, and of course you have to get in the car, which I'll show you that part later, but I don't think it should have been that much that should have come out of the check. But I do think it's been changed at some point in its life, but they definitely overfilled it. So let me, while we're waiting for that to drain, let me go ahead and do the other one real quick. And then we'll see what that looks like, and I'll wait for this to drain. And then we'll get into, oh, that is the wrong socket. I need a 14. Should be that one that's, or that one. Yeah, that's way overfilled. I'm gonna try to do this where we're not making a mess. No promises. Cool. Casualty. And I lost the plank, or the drain. All right, I'm gonna wait for this to finish draining. I'll show you what the fluid actually looks like, and then we'll get into the fill procedure. All right, so as you saw, I definitely think this unit was overfilled. Fluid is dirty, but it's not as dirty as what I expected. So I don't know who did this prior. At least they did it, but definitely overfilled. Drain plug is 22.9 foot-pounds. I put the new crush ring on there, and then we're gonna get into the fill procedure as soon as this is tightened. Okay, so that's done. Let me get this pan out, and I want to show you guys the fluid, and then we're going to get into the fill procedure, which is pretty easy, especially with the syringe. So give me 1 second. All right, so obviously check Subaru, see which one you need. This one needs the CVT F2. We are going to, I'm gonna set you guys up on time lapse. I'm gonna use that syringe. We're gonna fill it up, but let me get the light because it was dying anyway. And then I'm gonna put you on time lapse. You don't really need to watch this. It should take right around 4 quarts before it starts to fill out of the check plug. And then we'll get into the proper temperature of filling it up, and I'll show you how to do that as well. All right, so as you watch from time lapse, this is pouring out slowly. I'm gonna go ahead and hand tighten the plug back in, and then we're gonna start the warm up procedure. I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll come back and recheck this and continue to add until needed. All right, so what we're gonna do, go ahead and start the car. And then go ahead and pull it down into reverse for 5 seconds. Hold there for a second, go to neutral. Hold there for a second. Go ahead and go to drive. Hold there for a few seconds, and go back to neutral. Go to reverse. And then go to park, and leave it in park. So what we're doing now, all we're doing is monitoring the temperature. I don't know, there you go. See the bottom one, it's only at 72 degrees. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get the CVT fluid to circulate through the transmission so we can fill it to the correct level. So she's gonna yell at me once it gets to 97 degrees, I'm gonna get underneath of it and we're gonna fill, and I'll put it on time lapse real quick. And we're gonna continue to fill the transmission with fluid. So give me a few minutes till this gets to operating temp and we'll get into it. Okay, so I'm back under here. It did take a little bit, sorry about it's running, that's the noise. But anyway, it took a little bit to get to temp. It's like 91 degrees. You have to get to 93 at least. I'm gonna wait till it gets to 95. And then actually at 93, I'm gonna pull the plug and go ahead and start filling it up. And once it hits 95, then we'll be able to, once it stops taking fluid and it starts running out, then we're finished. So give me just a couple minutes till it gets to temp and I'm gonna get the fluid ready. All right, so my sister's actually in the car helping. This is definitely a two-person job. Not that it's difficult, but you're gonna need somebody in here. So we're gonna go ahead and pull the fill plug and we're gonna add fluid now until it starts to come out. By doing this though, it may end up I dropped the crush ring into the oil pan. That's great. It may end up cooling it. The fluid is a little bit cooler than obviously the transmission. But all we're doing is just monitoring the temperature, and we're gonna fill this up until it comes out, and then we're done. That's it. No, it's all right. This should take about 5 quarts to do this. What's the temperature on? So it's at 95 degrees right now. So we are perfectly within spec. So I'm gonna grab my final bottle. And I got a little bit left in the other one, but the CVT fluid, or I can't get the syringe down in there. Sorry about the noise again, we're underneath the car, but I wanted to show you exactly how the procedure's done. So there you go. All we are doing now is waiting for this to get to a slow, steady stream, and then we're going to put the fill plug in. I'm going to have to go digging for the washer, but that's all it is. Definitely want to fill this again, but what's the temperature on there? 95 degrees, so we're perfectly within spec. I'm going to let it get just a little bit more out, and then actually I'm going to put that in. I have to pull this plug off again because I have to get the crush ring for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut the car off now, and I gotta dig the washer out, and then we'll finish this up with the test drive. All right, so I had to dig out the crush washer, or the washer it fell in the oil pan. Anyway, the side plug is 36.9. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna clean up any oil that I've spilled around it, and then we are going to go ahead and put the splash shield on, and I'm gonna take it for a test drive. So drain plug's 22.9. The other one is, I believe it's 36.9, or 36 foot-pounds is enough. So we're gonna go ahead and take care of that, put the splash shield on, and this video is done. Did not do a reset to it. I would like to, but that's for a later video when we tackle the all-wheel drive solenoid. All right, so we're gonna do 36 foot-pounds on this, and okay. And then that's pretty much it for under here. Just the splash shield. I gotta finish cleaning all this up, but not a hard video. It's a little intimidating at first if you've never done it, but I can tell you now that I have done it, would not hesitate to do it again. CVT fluid is relatively cheap compared to a CVT, so highly recommend change that. Let me finish cleaning this mess up with the splash shield. We're gonna take it for a test drive, see if it helped with some of the clunkiness without doing a reset. All right, guys, so if you watched up to this point, thanks again for watching. I will say, without doing a reset to this, and I don't know if the fluid's ever been changed. I think it's been changed, but it did take out some of the jerkiness of it. So I'm glad I actually did that. And like I said, when we do the valve body for the all-wheel drive, I'm going to do the fluid again, but it's definitely a lot smoother. Highly recommend it. I know it seems a little intimidating, but it's not. But thanks again for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Check our Facebook page out. You know, early stuff gets posted on there, but thanks again for watching.